What's up, guys? Okay, so finally got around to making my little video of my mini cut, how it went, what I did, how you can do it. Here we go. I did my body fat scan the other day, which is great. I'm gonna end with that because I realized I didn't actually do my body fat before I started this. Last time I tested my body fat was in June, so we're not gonna really be able to know like what came from the cut and what didn't. But ultimately, I wanted to lose weight on this cut, so that's what we're gonna start with, and we'll do the body fat last just to kind of show you where I'm at. But so weight, I lost 7 pounds in 6 weeks, which is awesome. A little bit over a pound a week, which is perfect, considering the way I was doing it and how, and which I'm going to get into later. And yeah, I just wanted to lose like the last 5 to 8 pounds that would get me at my normal weight pre-pregnancy. And obviously 5 to 8 pounds isn't going to dramatically, I don't know, change the way my body looks or change my health in any kind of way. But it was just gonna get me to feel more comfortable in my clothes that, I'd already have. And I just wanted to lose that last little bit to get me right where I need to be. And then just to continue to recomp, because I still have recomping to do. But I just wanted to, you know, fast track a little bit of that weight loss. And so the mini cut is going to be great for somebody who needs to lose like maybe like 5 to 15 pounds ish. It's not going to be ideal if you need to lose like 30, 40, 50 pounds. I wouldn't recommend starting a mini cut. I would recommend going into a more conservative like calorie deficit and then just slowly losing that weight. And then when you have like the last maybe 10 pounds to lose, if you want to do them in like a quick way, then you can do a little mini cut. Or if you want to, lose 5 to 10 pounds for like a trip you have coming up in 6 to 8 weeks, whatever, then you can go on a little mini cut for that. Things like that. I wouldn't recommend it for like long-term weight loss. So let's get it. 7 pounds in 6 weeks, which is great. Yeah, a little bit over a pound a week, which I'm very pleased with. And I just kind of want to talk about first what I cut out completely, because there were some things that I cut out completely. Like, we have to be realistic. I wanted to do this to show you that you can do this without cutting everything out of your life and living like, a very bland, boring, not enjoying food. Food is fuel, but also food is social life. Food is family, food is friends, food is enjoyment. I don't care. And I used to not think that. I used to think that food was only fuel, like very strict. And then, yeah, now I have a different mindset, and that's totally okay. But yeah, food is so much more than just fuel. So I thought that I would have to sacrifice like so much, and I was like, I wasn't really willing to do it for the last 5 to 8 pounds. But I just wanted to show that, you know what, I don't have to give up everything. I know that I don't. And I'm going to show you that you can do this without having to give up everything. So that's what I did. But there were a few things realistically that I cut out that you just have to cut out for a small amount of time. And I mean, really, a majority of the time would be great because these foods aren't good for you anyways, but I was eating them because food, like I said, is social and love and life. So I cut out like processed fried foods pretty much entirely. I did probably have like, I would go to Chick-fil-A like on Saturdays. Me and K3 would go. I think I went like 2 or 3 times within that 6-week range, and I would have a grilled chicken sandwich, but then I would share French fries with K3, so I would have fries then. But that was like the extent of my fried food and processed food. Everything else, I was eating whole foods only. And yeah, no dessert, like snacks, processed dessert snacks. Well, do take that back. I did not give up my chocolate drizzled kettle corn that I would have at night. I would have a cup of that pretty much every night, and little dark chocolate nuggets, which I was eating that before this anyways. Like, that's like a ritual for me. Like, I put K3 down, I get to watch some TV, and I have a cup of this drizzle popcorn, and then if I want some extra chocolate, I'll have like one of these dark chocolate nuggets. So that wasn't anything new that I had to add. I just kept that. I just continued that. I didn't switch from like milk chocolate to dark chocolate or whatever. So yeah, but as far as like cake, cookies, ice cream, things like that, I pretty much stayed away from that entirely. I did have one weekend where I went to visit my sister, and we had like a cocktail. And I also had, I think, some like creamy cheese potatoes that night or something like that. But again, not processed-ish food, like nothing fried, things like that. I tried to just stick with whole foods even while I was away. So that was the majority of it. And you know, I went from having that stuff maybe like 1 to 2 times a week, because me and Keith will go out to eat at least once a week, and I would just order whatever. Like whenever I go out to eat, I like to order things that I don't make at home, you know? I don't want to order like a chicken salad or like a whatever. So I always like to order things that I know I'm not going to make at home. So I was doing that like 1 to 2 times a week, and I cut it out like for the 6 weeks, and I did it probably not even a handful of times, probably like 3 or 4 times within 6 weeks. So that just shows that you can throw these days in there, but the majority of your time has to be on track for it to work. So yeah, so I did that, cut that out, and then I also completely cut out liquor, alcohol, except again for that one day I went out of town. I had some tequila and I had like a sangria cocktail, but I just continued to drink my wine. But I regulated that a bit because I was also drinking wine. Like I'll drink wine like a glass probably like 4 times a week, really. Like just pour up a glass of wine, have a little glass of wine. Like I'm not chugging wine, but I also like, you know, will have a glass of wine. So yeah, I was doing that probably like 4 times a week. So I limited that to about 2 times a week. I tried to stay very consistent with that because those calories I know are not going to do anything for me. They're just like completely empty calories, not like carbs that I can use for energy later. So I tried to really focus on that and completely cut out the liquor, and then just did 2 times of wine. So other than that, that's really all I cut out. And then the rest of it, I just kind of was eating more intuitively. So instead of like snacking throughout the day and having like a few chips here or like a cookie or, you know, things like that, like I wasn't all the way on the other extreme either, where I was just eating such bad food all the time and processed food every day. So it wasn't like that. It wasn't that I had to like, you know, go from this to that. I was already pretty dialed. I just had to take it up just a little bit and get rid of those little extras that I was doing for this to happen. Because like I said, it's the last 5 to 8 pounds. It's not anything that's like life changing. You're not going to change what you've been doing so much, obviously, to lose the last 5 to 8 pounds. If you're sustaining this weight, then you're pretty much already here. But for you to lose the last 5 to 8, that's when you have to get rid of all of those little extras that you're having. So that's really realistically what I had to do. But I did stick with having 3 main meals a day. So I would have breakfast, not a big, but moderate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then I would have one like shake or piece of fruit in the middle of that, just if I was hungry, extra hungry or whatever, between meals. But I stuck with that. And then my cup of popcorn at night. So that was very regimented and consistent. And I would just eat like chicken, steak, turkey, pork chops a couple times. So things like that, just like whole meals with a side of like broccoli or a salad or potatoes, pasta, things like that. I just stuck with whole foods, and that's really it. And I would eat what was on my plate, and then I would move on until the next mealtime. Like I wasn't snacking, reaching for snacks like I do normally. Just I'll take a bite of that, you know. So yeah, that really helped. I was getting 100 ounces of water a day. So I normally drink a lot of water, but I really upped my water intake. So I think that helped. And then also I was getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. And then that was pretty much all of my like food wise and like habit wise ish. As far as my movement, I was still, my strength workouts were pretty similar. Still strength training about 4 to 5 times a week. If it, you know, it's a week that I can get 5 in, but if not, 4 was more than enough. And my strength workouts are about 60 minutes, an hour-ish, sometimes a little bit less, 50, 65 minutes-ish. And then I was also, though, this is what I added. So this is what I changed to my day that just helped me increase my, like, calories for the day. That's why I think I also didn't have to go into such a calorie deficit, because I went into a smaller calorie deficit and then I increased my movement a little bit. So I kind of went in by both ways instead of just going crazy working out 3 hours a day and not changing the diet part, or changing the diet part so much and then not changing the movement at all. I kind of did a little bit of both. So I think that really helped. Especially because, like I said, with my nutrition wasn't like completely restricted. So I was getting an extra 15 to 20 minute walk every single day. So in the afternoon, I would just go for a walk around the block, 15, 20 minutes. And I was doing that probably like 5 to 6 times a week realistically. And I was not used to doing that. I was just working out for the day and then I was done. So I think that really helped just get my extra movement in, because you think 10 minutes isn't anything, but 10 minutes 6 times a week, you've just added an hour of cardio to your day, to your week, I mean, you know, to your calorie deficit or whatever. So it's huge. Yeah, so I just think it's really important just to know and to understand that you can, you know, lose weight if you want to, and just live a healthier life if you want to, and you don't have to be completely restrictive. And yes, you know, if I would have cut out the wine, or if I would have cut out the Chick-fil-A, or if I would have cut out like those small little things that made me like happy, I probably could have lost what, like 10 pounds, an extra, like 4 pounds or 3 pounds, which would have been so cool. But I just didn't want to. I didn't want to, or my popcorn at night was not necessary, you know? So there were extra little things, but those small little things like helped me sustain this for 6 weeks, because honestly, those last 5 to 8 pounds aren't important enough to most people to stick with it. And they're not important enough to me for me to sacrifice like life and enjoyment with my family and my friends and things like that. So that's why I had to do it this way. If not, I just wouldn't do it. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. And I just want you to know that if you want to do this, you can 100% do it. Yeah, so stick with, if I had any recommendations, if you want to do this, and you want to do it in intuitive eating like I did, I didn't count calories, so I really don't know how many calories I was eating, but I know I was in a calorie deficit because of the things that I was cutting out. So I had to be in a calorie deficit because I was eating everything that I normally like would eat during this, but then I was adding the cocktail, the dinners out, the fried food. So in addition to what I was eating. So I just cut all of that out and just stuck with the, you know, whole foods. So I know I was in a calorie deficit because of that, but I don't know what the deficit was. So yeah, if you want to do something like this and you don't want to count calories, or if you do, great, go for it, count calories. But if you don't want to, then just stick with 3 main meals a day. If you need to add in an extra snack because you're hungry, I would suggest like a protein shake so that way you can keep your protein up. Make sure you keep your protein up. It's so important when you're in a calorie deficit because you want to maintain as much muscle mass as possible. So I would recommend, you know, your 3 main meals a day with protein, fat, and carb source. Make sure you're having enough water. Make sure your sleep is intact. Try to get a minimum of like 3 strength workouts a week if you can. And then you need to be getting your 8 to 10,000 steps every single day though. That's a non-negotiable. That's every single day, even on the days you don't work out, or even on the days you work out. So yeah, just start with that. And I guarantee you, if you stick with it, you will see a change. But yeah, just stick with it and stay consistent. So the last things I kind of wanted to talk about is what I'm gonna do like going forward. Like, okay, my calorie deficit's over, now what? Like, so basically I'm gonna go back to maintenance-ish. I'm gonna continue my, you know, 3 plates. I'm gonna continue to try to get rid of my little snacks and stuff, but when the weekend comes around, if me and Keith want to go out to dinner and I want to have a cocktail, I'm not gonna deprive myself of that. And if, you know, Keith brings home a piece of cake from work, I'm gonna have some things like that I was saying no to. So yeah, I'm just gonna go back to kind of maintenance calories, still eating my whole foods and stuff. And I'm gonna try to recomp a little bit more. So I want to recomp my body a little bit more, not necessarily lose any more weight, but I do want to lose a little bit more fat, gain muscle. So I'll just recomp my body a little bit and kind of just sustain where I am now. So yeah, if you have any questions or if you want to do this yourself, just please reach out to me. I'm happy to give you any advice or kind of get you started if you want me to. Oh, and the body fat. So, excuse me. So again, I don't know how much of this was from July or yeah, because the last one I did was June 10th. So I started my cut in July. So obviously we don't know how much was before then and how much happened during the cut, but I'm going to say that most of it happened during the cut because I was not in a calorie deficit previous. So anyways, 7 pounds is still accurate. Like from when I weighed in June, I was the same weight a month later. So that's funny. So 7 pounds, and my body fat mass went from 44.6 to 40.6. So what's that, like 4 pounds? Yeah, 4 pounds of fat. Fire. That's the goal. We want the fat to go down. So this is where it's not great. I also went down 2 pounds of muscle, which is so sad. But it's also nothing to be too concerned about. It's normal when you're in a calorie deficit. Your body needs calories to build muscle. point blank. So obviously I was in a calorie deficit. That's why it's so important to maintain your protein. I was trying to do the best I could maintaining my protein, but I still lost a little bit of muscle mass, which it is what it is. I'll put it back on once I get back to maintenance. But yeah, so it's great. Like, it's going in the right direction. So yes, now I just want to focus on, like I said, recomping my body. So weight will probably stay the same, and just kind of losing a little bit more fat and putting on a little bit more muscle and get them pull-ups in. Okay, I'm gonna stop babbling. But if you have any questions or if you want to do this, please reach out. Let me know. I'm happy to help. All right, bye.